Thank you to Movin'On partners, CMA CGM, Total Energies, and the Port of Marseille-Fos for opening their doors to this initiative. Well, and Pierre is still on the set with me. And gentlemen, so you are both actually involved in a Movin'On communities of interest, where you focus on sustainable mobility at the port level. So in particular, those of Bilbao and Brest. So Ekaitz Lopez, so you are the Economic and Finance Director of Bilbao Port. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much.
And we have remotely joining us Christophe Chabert, the CEO of Société Portuaire Brest-Bretagne. Hello, Christophe. How are you?
Hello, very well.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining. So as you have just seen, right, so this report illustrating the importance of ports in the energy transition sector, I'm sure you must recognize yourself in the statements that you have heard in this report. Just to quote the CEO, Hervé Martel, who says that it's really at the heart of their strategy to work on these alternative fuels, which is really, it means a lot regarding the marine industrial zones ecosystem and the main challenge of all the ports in the world, whether Marseille-Fos or your ports, would be really to go ahead of these new alternatives, these new energy solutions, and this energy transition we're talking about. So I'm sure you would like to say a few words about it. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. And well, we completely agree with this approach. I think that alternative fuels are in the heart of our strategy as well. And we understand that we are energy hubs and that we have to be able to attract as many investments as we can to deploy alternative fuels in our port, because these alternative fuels will be new services for the ship operators and also for the ship loaders. And if we want to remain competitive, we have to do it. We have to be able to attract the investments. And also, we have to become green ports or greener ports, also doing the Port Authority itself has to do its investments as well. For instance, deploying onshore power supply or hosting and investing in renewable energies. So we all have to contribute and deploy as many as alternative fuels as we can to remain competitive.
And Christophe, I'm sure that this must resonate from your perspective too.
Yes, of course, it's very important. I think all of you heard about the French President Macron, who inaugurated the first wind farm, offshore wind farm near Nantes-Saint-Nazaire yesterday. And during these inaugurations, he insists on the importance to develop and to have the port in the middle of the energy transitions for maritime transport. And I think, we have we not only one solutions, but we need to be a hub for energy transitions. And in this hub, we have the development of the marine renewable energy. We have also everything on the shore connections, and of course, the capability to answer to the customer regarding the change of fuel and to develop some new solutions like biofuel, bio-energy. And it is a complex whole strategy pushed by the French states to be in the middle of all the transitions energy.
All right. And Pierre, I'm sure this is what exactly you were saying earlier on, is like the strategy have a holistic view of how to bring everybody together to accelerate this transition, and the role of the ports are quite key.
Yeah, exactly. And here we talk about the energy transition, biofuel, alternative fuel. We can also talk about the hydrogen. But we see what is important to understand is that it will not be limited to the transition energy. It will create other other services also. It will be a center. The port are becoming center of innovation. The port are center. They will provide new services. Electrification of the port also will recalibrate the center and the link that we have between the ocean and the land. So there is a displacement from the land economy, which was very land focused, to an economy which is displacing, and we see that with the energy already, which is displacing some of the resource with the ocean. And you can imagine what is the link between the ocean and the land is the port. And we talk about the big port, the large ports, but we need also to integrate regional ports and small ports who can play an important role with the city where they are located.
Yeah, huge responsibility, yeah. You wanted to add something, Kate, on that?
Well, I think that we understand that energy and infrastructure are like two faces of the same coin. I mean, they complement very well. Mm-hmm. So the energy transition, in part of it, it's going to happen in the ports. And because we also are distribution centers for the ships, for the trains, for the trucks. So as multimodal platforms, I think that we can make a huge contribution to decarbonize the logistic chain and also help to decarbonize our region, our economy with these green hydrogen projects that have a huge scope. So I think that, yes, we are in the middle and we are part and have to be very proactive in this energy transition.
All right, so both of you are working in different communities of interest with Movin'On. So I would like to learn a little bit more. I know that it's on Brest, it's on LNG and cold ironing for Bilabo. So how are you addressing this issue, with the support of Movin'On? So can you probably share with us what makes this approach actually quite different from what we've seen, and what are the added values for the ports? Kate?
Okay, I think that joining Movin'On for us means connecting with lots of stakeholders and key players, but with a wider range than the port community itself. I mean, we are opening to understand and to have a prospective vision of where not just the maritime sector is going, but the mobility. And that is giving us very trustful relationships and giving us the idea of what the trends are, what the changes are, and connect with all of them. So when there is a transition, we have to change inside in our organizations first and work together in our organizations, but also open to other to the whole port community beyond and even beyond. And so that's the idea, and they are giving us a lot of value in that sense.
Right. And from your perspective, Christophe, in your community of interest, you worked on the LNG topic. So can you tell us more?
Yes, at the beginning, we needed to define what would be the best solutions for the fuel for the future, because it is not only a Brest question, it is an European question, and we need to work with all the customers. And what we really appreciate as soon as we work with Movin'On, it is a customer approach, That means not a theoretical approach, because we have a community, because there are some people like Total, we have some people like CGM, there are some people like other harbor. We can have a whole approach, and that is the first thing. But the thing, yes, it is a community, and it's a community with customer, just to define what could be the good solutions. And that's the second point. It is the people who are inside Movin'On are not only here to do a think tank, to make some networking, but also have the capability to do themselves some studies to give a good view of the work. And we have the both, and that is very important to have the both, the community, but also the knowledge of the people who are working at Movin'On to give a clear and practical analysis of the situations.
All right, and Pierre, this is what you were saying actually, is to bring all the players on board to find the right solution. You were speaking earlier on about like working with companies, young companies that have solutions. So this must absolutely resonate.
Yes, exactly. And I will probably focus on 2 points important. You can imagine, you see all this development innovation, we need talent. So attracting talent will be extremely important. So be part of a group like that will also give the opportunity to show that the new opportunities and so attract new talents. And we talk about it attract also investors and financiers. So being part of all this group of community create also a credibility to the project because he has been reviewed, part of a community, part of the ecosystem. So resource like talent and money are the two key elements that will make it also successful, and attracting other type of business also after that, in creating a real ecosystem, which is generating different cash flow, different activities, and the port are reinventing themselves.
Right.
So it's extremely important. Everything starts with the energy, and then after that you have all the rest which will follow, innovation, technology, new services, activities, and this is growing the city which is close by. So it's really what we need also, very important, the support of the government, the local government, the general government need to support this kind of initiative because it's also a heavy infrastructure need to be put around.
To be able to put it together. Well, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you to all three of you for this enlightening insights. Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Christophe. And again, thanks to the committed organizations and key players. MOVIN'On communities of interest are moving from ambition to action. And if you think that those discussions have got you thinking and you'd like to learn more, feel free to join this community of interest. Don't hesitate to contact them on the MOVIN'On Connect website.